I'm Zach.
I'm Melissa.
And this is Tangle, one of the guests at KitsuneCon 2013. So how are you today?
I'm doing well. I have coffee. It has multiple creamers in it of note. So for you at home, you want to get these s'mores and vanilla caramel, and then you can have what this is. It's wonderful.
The official Tangle coffee.
Yes.
Oh God, no, don't ever officialize anything I do. That legitimizes it, and then at that point, that's
hipsters
just,
get into it, and then it's...
Yeah, and then it goes mainstream, and Ellen does it, and then it's over.
Oh, yeah, it kills it.
So, for people who might not know, who are you? Why?
Got it. Well, yeah. Jeff. It'll just be Jeff. It doesn't. Every time I try to talk to this woman, I just completely miss her. My name is Tanglwyst De Holloway. I have been doing costuming since 1988. How many of you were alive in 1988? How many of you were 4? Yeah. Anyway, and I started out doing medieval costuming from portraiture and doing stuff with the Utah Shakespearean Festival. And that got me the ability to pattern from two-dimensional stuff. And from there, I went into armor making, I went into writing, I went into public speaking, how to behave properly, how to not let the rumor mill control your life, self-esteem, what to do when your characters you're writing about do stuff without you, shoes, makeup, what to do with fingernails so that you can wear a dragon outfit on your face, things like that. So eventually when it came right down to it, I've got 68 panels that I can do now. So if you want to know about it, ask me. I'm not as much into football, but I can totally talk about baseball with you. I am a Yankees fan, but I despise Dallas, so.
Good to know.
Now
well, there you go. So what is your favorite part about being a guest at conventions?
Oh, the lavish accessories that I know. Honestly, it's meeting people. I mean, I tell people all the time that no one will come to a convention because I'm there, because no one knows who the hell I am. But who the darn I am. But they'll come back to a convention because I'm there, and you guys saw what it's like. So if you knew that I was coming to a convention, having been through what you did, is that the sort of thing that would make you want to go to that convention?
Oh, yes.
100%.
Okay.
So fun.
And that was exactly what I do. I have what I call my con-10. Every time I go to a convention, there are these 10 people that I will run into, and of course, not the same people every convention. Those people are called guests. But there's these 10 people that I meet at the con that first day, and I end up running into them repeatedly over the course of the con. And sometimes those people have been like really impressive people, and sometimes they're guests. So, you know, but like I went to the World Science Fiction Convention for the very first time in Reno 2 years ago, where Boris Vallejo, who is an amazing artist, if you've ever seen a picture of a dragon, that's the guy who started that. So go look him up, Boris V. He'll be that first guy. Look at his pictures, and you'll go, oh. Anyway. He was one of my content at that convention, and that convention went on for 5 days. So I saw him every day, hung out 15 minutes a day with the most epic artist on the planet, and it was really amazing. And George R.R. Martin, he was another one of my content, and that's happened every time. In fact, when we went and got his autograph after he won the Hugo this year in Chicago. He introduced us to the guy who also was up there with him for production on Game of Thrones, and I said, yeah, do you remember me from last night? He says, yeah, I signed your breast, you came to my party. And I'm going, that always seems to stick with people. It's really kind of cool, right?
So,
trust me. How do you follow it up? What's your next question, Zach?
So, what got you started into making costumes?
I am arrogant as hell. I'm terribly arrogant, really, if you can't tell. So it didn't seem like I could possibly convey the wonderful ideas in my head to some other person and get them to actually do this. And I have what I understand is a very notable skill and extremely rare, which is understanding the 3D of something, being able to look at something and figure out how to make it
in real life.
You know, in real life. And I didn't realize that this was a noteworthy skill until I met everybody else on the planet who doesn't have the ability to do that. And it's like when they say things like, yeah, I need to make this thing and it looks like this, and I go, oh, well, okay. When you do the flangy bits here, use chopsticks. You just put that in there and you put it in the bowl here, and it just sticks up like that. And then it'll be kind of, you know, flexible, because this part will be flexible. It'll be fine. And they're going,
what?
Okay. So I don't need this $2,000 piece of titanium that I picked up from Boeing to make this outfit. It's like, yes. As a gift to people you don't care for. You know, things, simple tips, like if you're going to be doing makeup, especially if you're going to be doing wild anime makeup, go to a dollar store and get dollar store baby shampoo to remove the makeup.
Oh.
It's clearly for babies you don't like, but it will take off even the full-on body paint, where you usually will have paint in places you really don't want them, and they show up later, and you're kind of going, I'm sorry, officer, I have no idea where that green paint came from. I was a Orion slave girl 2 years ago, and I still have this problem. But yeah, comes right off. The dollar store makeup remover stuff will get waterproof mascara off.
Wow.
Yeah.
Burns through tires as well.
Yeah, yeah. But not the point. You can also get off.
Right.
Anyone who's ever had waterproof mascara on and goes 3 years later, yeah, I put this on once for a wedding. It was a mistake. You know.
So, what was the hardest costume you've ever made? Hardest, both in construction and to wear, or both?
The moral of this tale is don't piss off your seamstress. Okay? So we'll get that out of the way. Aesop says don't piss off your seamstress. I made a wedding dress for a girl. She wanted something Elizabethan looking. She saw the Janet Arnold Brown book, which is, Janet Arnold was an amazing researcher. She was allowed to go into unearthed tombs and stuff like this and take out the clothing that these dead folk are wearing and map it out exactly and record it and catalog it and everything like this, and then she would write books about them, and she's absolutely epic. The gal passed away, but her books, Elizabeth's Wardrobe Unlocked, goes for like $215 because it is absolutely the definitive research. She is an undisputable source. So this girl brought this, and the Eleanor Toledo is one of the gowns that's in there, and she says, yes, I want this. And I went, okay, so what kind of blah, 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 detail, okay. She wanted me to do embroidery. Okay, well, I've got an embroidery machine. I can program it, not a problem. You like this one, this one, this one? Oh, yeah, I like this, blah, 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 blah. I said, okay. So I go to make it, and in order to do something Elizabethan has understructure, infrastructure and the corsetry and the hoops and the bum roll, all that kind of stuff, and all that has to be done before you do the outer parts, because if you don't get the under parts right, you can't fit it properly.
Right.
So I started on the stuff, and I'm going, okay, this is a wedding. Now I realized that this here was a period garment, but they didn't like their people back then, and we don't look the same as they did, and this girl doesn't have that same kind of shape as Eleanor Toledo. So, and she's going to be in a wedding dress, so it needs to have a certain amount of wearability. Yeah. And she needs to be able to walk in it. She needs to be able to sit down and stand up in it, and she needs to be able to dance in it and things like this. And if she has like a Catholic wedding, it's going to be, you know, calisthenics. So,
yes.
So you gotta prepare for these things. So I made sure that I was going to have the hips cut a little bit higher, but you have to adjust that when you get them on it, and you have to mark where that's at, because one hip might be higher than the other, and you can't just. So, as a consequence, I made her this corset, and I had her, I was going to have her put it on so we can make sure we got it fit. And she looked at it, and she went, "This is not what I am paying for. And she was buying me 2 books for this. And neither one of them were expensive books. One was $7.99 and in the house already. The other one was $12.99 and she just hadn't bought it yet. So I'm just kind of going, all right. And she said, I wanted this. And this doesn't have a long bone in the front. Like this, I was expecting this to have like a long point thing. And I'm sitting there going, well, if she sits, she's not going to be able to, this is going to hook in here. Right. And all this other stuff. And I tried to explain that to her. She says, I said I wanted this. This is what I want.
Right.
And I'm going, I apologize. Forgive me. I will make sure that it is looks exactly like that. So she came back later. And she was, how tall are you?
I'm almost 5'6".
Okay. Yeah, she was about 5'5".
Okay.
She's a little bit shorter than you. And I'm 5'7", 7.5". Now I have in the front of my corset, and it goes to, it went to here, it had a good point to right about here, from here, and that's a 12-inch bone. And I put in a 14-inch front bone for her, for the bust, because that made it that long front line that she demanded. And then I accidentally, I use corsage pins. They're like this, because I'm using very thick material. I'm using upholstery material, and I'm using velvets and stuff like that. So I regularly work with this, because when you're sewing through 8 layers or something, you got to be able to do this. And I accidentally left one of those, 2 of those, one in the corset pointing down here, and one in the corset pointing up here. Oops. And so this was all accidentally sewn in there and stuff like this. And when she's standing there like this, she doesn't notice. But when you do things like live in an outfit like that, you will start slouching. And that's where the problems come in. She had it so that the thing went very far down, so she wasn't going to be able to sit without spiking into the dang chair, because that's what she wanted. She wanted the long bone. And it's like, that is a self-solving problem. Then she came on, she tried that on. It's very easy to wear that for like about a 5-6 minute fitting. You never even know anything's wrong with it. And then when she was going to be, because she was going to be getting married in Oregon, and this was happening up in Moscow, Idaho, I said, okay, it's going to be ready Wednesday. She says, okay, well, the wedding's Friday or Saturday, so we're going to be going over on Thursday. I said, great, you can pick it up on your way. Well, no, the lady decided to go over on Tuesday to check out stuff, and she was going to be back on Wednesday, pick up the dress, and then leave on Thursday. Well, no, she went on Tuesday, and she decided not to come back. So then I had to rush ship on Friday. That she paid for the cost of shipping, never saw that second book, at least I got one, and had to do the hoop, the corset, the gown, skirt, everything. Easily 70 hours worth of work in this thing. And I never even got so much as a thank you for doing the sending. Personally, I'm sitting there going, well, after she wore it for 4 hours. You know, but moral of the story, don't piss off your seamstress. But that was just one of those things that, you know, your seamstress is a lot like your interior decorator. They know what they're doing. They know they were trying to help you live in the environment that you were set up in. So if you have a situation and the person recommends this is going to happen during the course of your day, and you're going to need to wear this for that entire time, this is how you live in that. Trust them, because chances are they've done this before. So,
good to
Jeff,
know.
don't forget that.
So what was actually the first costume you ever made? Way back
Ooh,
when?
back in the day, son. When I actually started doing sewing, I wanted an Elizabethan gown, and so I made my very first SCA gown was the Society for Creative Anachronism. Hi everyone. My first SCA gown was a Elizabethan style. So I got a pattern that had the pointy front and poofy shoulders, and it was a prom dress, and it had some really pretty black satin, and then it had an underskirt of white. And important fashion tips: prom dresses are not medieval dresses. Satin hates you. It hates you too, Jeff. So don't use it. But it came out exactly like I wanted. It got me started on doing this stuff. I started doing a little bit more research. There are several really great books out there. One by Winter and Savoy is called Elizabethan Costuming. There's the Tudor Tailor, which is also a fantastic book if you want to do late period. And late period is beautiful stuff. You can get some fantastic work out of those. I also do really, really simple stuff. So in that case, the Coat Hardy is the Medieval Tailor's book. So if you are interested in anything from about 1200 to 1600, those are a good group to go with. I don't do early period, and I don't do Celtic stuff because there are people out there who are way better at that than me, and I look like crap in that stuff. I suck. I'm all curvy and girly. I'm built like a video game hooker, like I mentioned last night, and so if I wear something that's like really straight, I gain 400 pounds because these suckers stick out. And so if they just drape right down to the bottom, it's like, are you just a brick of cheese under there? And I go, yes, I am. So, and plaid is not a good idea. So I started going with stuff that had form to it because it needed form. And the more form you started looking into, the more the interesting stuff came out. And now I've learned what to do. The steampunk stuff is now really fun. The Victorian has some variety to it, and that's really cool. But it's the fact that steampunk is so innovative. There are, of course, the authenticity mavens out there going, well, you know, this is what they were wearing in Victorian. It's like, yes, but in Jules Verne's brain, nobody wore that. They wore this, and there's a rabbit. So, so the sheer creativity available in steampunk is fantastic. And one of the things that always happens, you can always do a panel on steampunk guns.
Yes.
Always. It doesn't matter what it is, steampunk guns. I made one, it's on my Facebook, Tanglwyst De Holloway, Tanglwyst. You don't really need more than that, I'll figure out the rest of it. But yeah, one of the pictures on there is a new gun that's based off of a flintlock pistol that I had most of, and I put tubes filled with hair gel and seed beads. It's freaking awesome. Absolutely, hair gel is beautiful and has that very ethereal quality to it. You shoot a light in it somehow, and you've got like everything you could possibly want. It's fantastic.
So on the topic of steampunk, what got you in? What got you into steampunk? There?
I was at a convention and I saw someone wearing something like really, you know, every clockwork known to man was on this, and they went, "That's really cool. I wonder what that is." So I asked, and they said, "Well, this is steampunk." And I went, "Oh, okay." Google. Whoa. You know, and next thing you know, it's like, oh yeah, if you've seen League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, there you go. Yeah. If you've seen Hellboy, there you go. Yeah. I mean, all of these things just kicking it out, and you're going, oh yeah, I really like that. Oh, that was really cool. Okay, and then just you start going, and I have a white rabbit outfit from Alice in Wonderland that is steampunk, and it's white, of course, but the everything I own has to be machine washable by a 14-year-old girl, and and it has to be able to be worn and packed and pulled out of that and put on instead of having to deal with a wrinkle issue. So everything I've got has to be like really, really usable. And so one of the things to represent the white fur of the white rabbit is I've got white eyelash lace on this shoulder, and that's my fur. And eyelash lace is great because you can get it at the dollar store, and it's very, very shiny and pretty. It also does, I made the mask, and that's the fur on the mask. And so you just lay it down in rows, and it lays back really, really pretty. The mask itself is pretty creepy, so I tend not to wear it. But, and I made lop ears, because lops are cool, and you can put multiple earrings in them. So, and most people just kind of look at me and go, what are those? They're rabbit ears. You, stand to him. You're tall, hold this above my head. So that worked out really well. But being able to have that innovation and that amount of creativity, and you can just do anything. You can just say, you know, yeah, it's steampunk. I like the poster of Abraham Lincoln with the
right.
bitty gum arm.
Yeah.
And it's like steampunk. Yeah, it's like that. You know?
So, on top of costuming and creating and wearing and doing things like that,
you also write.
I do. I was going to bring them and I totally spaced it because we're going, no, we have to get everything out of the house now because we're hitting the airport in like, and there was French toast. So, you know, between those two things, I was like, I have no idea there was a thing I was going to do. I can't remember what it was. Oh, yeah, there was a book. Anyway, so yeah, my first book is called Thine Enemy's Eyes. It is about a guy who tries to get a woman to kill the king, and he doesn't know about her relationship with the king. Wackiness ensues. And then the second book, An Unpolished Gem, picks up about 30 minutes after the first book lets off.
Okay.
Because if I just spent 3 days walking everywhere with these people, oh, they went into the bathroom, let's go see what they're doing. I mean, you know, why in the heck am I going to take 2 years off? It's like, what were you doing for 2 years? That was a really long bathroom stop. It's like, well, there was this indigestion and some curry. Anyway, so it's like, so it picks up about 30 minutes after that one, and then the third book, which I'm working on right now, and I'm on chapter 41 of it, so it's almost done. With first draft edits, picks up 30 minutes after, 5 minutes after the last one let off, which is important because where the last one let off, I need a T-shirt that says, if you kill me, you won't know what happens. Because it leaves in a kind of a Empire Strikes Back kind of thing.
Oh.
So you're just kind of going, oh, great. You know? So for those of you who have not read it, March is when the third book comes out. One of my voice actors hasn't read the second book because she can't stand not knowing what happens.
Yes.
So she told me she was going to read it this Christmas break, and she said, but you need to send me the first chapter of the third book as soon as I'm done. You've got it written, right? And I went, I can send it to you electronically, Erin. She says, all right. Then I'll read this. But I'm going to let you know if you don't have that.
I'm ready.
So you also work for whatever you want to call it, with a publishing company.
Yes, we have a publishing company. The publishing company is effectively, it's assisted self-publishing.
Okay.
You're going to be self-publishing. Now, for those of you who don't know this, J.K. Rowling was self-published. The kid who wrote Aragon, self-published. His mom edited the book. Stephanie Myers, who wrote the Twilight series, self-published. So it is a very valid aspect of the publishing market. Right now, one of our authors that we put out his book this year, his name's Dan Coughlin. He's known as Samurai Dan in the con circuit. He's a really, really popular guest. He put out a book called The Pack, which was about biker werewolves.
Oh.
And he had it out on his table the first convention that he had it, and it was picked up by Haven. A representative of Haven came by, and they went, I want to do this. So yeah, that's what we help you do. And we've been doing this for 2 years. There are a lot of predators in the industry, so communicate with us. If you want to know how to self-publish and how not to get taken and things like this, just go to our website, fjpublishing.com, and we lay it all out for you right there. You do not need to go with us. We say this is where you go to get your printing done cheap. This is how you put out an ebook. This is how you get it on Kindle. This is how you get it on Barnes & Noble. These are the percentages. This is what they mean. If you have any questions, this is an artist. Here's another artist. Talk to these people. Make sure you pay them. Artists need to be paid. If you know somebody who's a good friend of yours who will do the artwork for you, that's wonderful. If they're doing your cover art especially, frickin' pay them, because you don't have a book if you don't have a cover.
Right.
And if you don't have a cover, because this artist didn't get paid, that's a self-solving problem. It talks about ISBN numbers, and where to get them, and what the cost is on them, etc., etc., etc.
Nice.
So you can get everything you need to know on doing it yourself, and what we do is we help you distribute your books, we help you do this. A lot of people, there's a bit of a stigma still with self-publishing, because for a long time, things called vanity presses would just publish whatever you wanted to publish. And it would be unedited, and it would be crap, and it got a very bad reputation amongst the publishing industry. They just go, yeah, self-published people are just, it's just crap that no one else would publish. And instead, you know, with the advent of much better writers and people really putting some effort into it, and we have editors at our company that will help you get it refined and things like this, and then you get that out there. We will take it with us, and it gets put under our label, so now you're part of a collection of authors. So it's not just you, you're alongside other authors as well. And it helps legitimize people who want to have that connection, gives you a sense of community because you're part of something, and it also gets your books to places that you wouldn't be going.
Right.
I was flown out by You Fine People and Mitch to this thing this weekend, but I'll be flying out here at the end of March for KitsuneCon. And prior to that, I'm in Denver. Prior to that, there are 4 conventions in Boise, Idaho. So if any of you guys have books that you want written that you want to write, if you publish them through us, you're going to be represented in Idaho. I don't know how often you get out there. You know, I'll be in Vegas in May. Probably if they do New Mexico again, I'll be in New Mexico in September. I'm going to be in Texas at the World Science Fiction Convention there in September. There's stuff in October, November. I travel all over the place. So even if you are with me when I'm at a convention and I'm doing your books, that's great because then you can sign your books. But say, for example, you're doing a book signing here at home while I'm over in Denver. So now you're being represented in 2 different places, and that's what we do.
Cool.
So what would you suggest for a first-time writer or even costumer? What would be your one thing that would be your prime?
No, you know, honestly, in both cases, know your craft.
Okay.
It seems like that would be more geared toward anybody doing costuming, doing the physical arts, where you're dealing with tangible things, such as armor making, or wigs or makeup or anything like that, prosthetics. But writing is also a craft. It is a skill. You do need to know what they are. Understand English. Know punctuation. We had this conversation last night.
Yes.
You know, commas matter. It's the difference between helping your Uncle Jack off a horse and... Yeah, I thought you'd like that one, Jeff. Anyway, knowing what a dangling participle is. Most people don't actually know what that is. Understanding what ending in a preposition is. Things like that. You can do these things, and you can just write, and you can have an editor go over it. But I will tell you right now, knowing the difference between a run-on sentence and a run-on paragraph, okay? No, a run-on paragraph is not a really, 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 really long sentence. A run-on paragraph is where you change subjects within the paragraph. So, this guy notices this woman, and he starts talking about her eyes, and then his grandmother comes into play, and there was this dog scene. You know, that's a run-on paragraph, because you get away from what you were talking about, and you don't get back to it. If this doesn't relate to what you started the paragraph about, then you need to relook at the paragraph. Likewise, understanding the theme of your costume, understanding the theme of your armor, understanding the theme of your cool steampunk weaponry ensemble. All of those things are sticking in the theme. So you've got your idea, you start, you middle, and you end it. And you keep that all consistent.
Cool.
Follow your own rules that you set up. If you're going to do magic in your world, and that doesn't matter if it's gaming, yes, I do that too, or if it's writing, if you've got rules of magic in your world, keep it consistent. Anybody who saw Sixth Sense, yeah? Okay, anytime there's red in the room, there's a ghost in the room. It's one of the rules that Shyamalan put on. So.
Okay, so you mentioned gaming.
I did.
I could go on for hours about gaming.
Yes, you can.
I think it's actually required by law to go
yes.
on by that. Yes.
So is it? Are you in tabletop? Or?
Yes,
okay.
and yes, and yes. I got the Baldur's Gate Extended Edition.
Oh.
Woo!
So
I need to download the new update because it's now up to 19 gig, and I'm good with that. But make sure you go to, when you go to the Friendly Arms Inn, hit tab, that highlights the spot where you get the Ring of Wizardry. You got to go down on the bottom, over by the pine tree, where the rock is. And there is a hole in Nashkel in the farm, the upper farm, to the extreme left, that has a full set of Ankeg armor already made. Now you know. Nira is okay. She's one of the new NPCs, but her quest is kind of broken, and Dorn can carry 500 gold pieces worth of stuff, which is great for carrying dead bodies, because you carry a lot of dead bodies in Baldur's Gate. So, you know, hey, we need to drag this kid out of the Ankeg cave. Okay, now we're going to drag this dead guy out of this, and here's the sewers in Baldur's Gate. Look, more dead people. Keep him around, but be aware of the fact that every time he comes up to you and says, "Are you sure you want me to leave?" he has stopped being in the party at that moment, so if you leave the screen, he stays behind. Irritating.
Okay.
His quest is also broken. For gaming systems, I do Pathfinder for D&D. 4th edition is an abomination unto God and man, and I will not do it. If I wanted a character game wherein at 5th level every mage is exactly the same as every other mage, I would be playing WoW.
It's paper WoW.
It is paper WoW. You know what? WoW did that already under the WoW label.
They're supposed to fix it in 5.0.
They are, but I will tell you right now, they have really lost a lot of their audience. Paizo has done a fantastic job picking up the open game license. So I love the Pathfinder system. I play Exalted on Tuesdays, and we have a pirate game on Thursday nights. We do Star Wars on Sunday mornings.
Nice.
So we do that. This is the Saga edition. I like those. Little irritated by the fact that, you know, you can't learn any new skills unless you buy a feat that allows you to have new skills in that particular one, whereas in the previous edition you were able to just mix and match pretty much. You know, I'm going to do Scoundrel right now, and I'm going to do Noble right now, so you can actually get the character and really tweak it like you want. But you get your GM who actually lets you have some good house rules, and you're doing okay. We used to have pawnite crystals, and the gaming stories could go on for 6 days. So, you know, and they'd all be hilarious. You would love them, Jeff. So.
Now, as a writer and a avid gamer, what would be a suggestion for a first-time DM?
The thing that's most important for you to understand as a GM is that nothing screws up your game like player characters.
Yes.
Okay, that's a fact of God. And in truth, they will come up with things that you had no idea. If it's a better idea than you had, throw out your idea and go, yeah, that's exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
Because they'll come up with stuff that you're just going, wow. And if you think you have enough stuff planned out, you're wrong. You were wrong. So, and DMs make the worst players.
Yes, they do. Because
they are always thinking of how they would do it, and that after a while that can get wearing. So, here's what you do as a first-time GM. Your first job is to know everything there is to know about your world. It's your world.
Right.
We're walking through your brain. Now they're going to put stuff in your brain that you didn't know was a possibility in your brain, and at that point you need to build a new room onto your brain. What I do personally, and this is how I do it, and there's a lot of people just riff and wing it. The other 3 DMs in my house will do different methods, but the way I do it is I start with creation, the creation story of the world, and I do this with the books as well, and then I work down as to what's going on and everything like this until I get to where you are. You are here. And what that means is I know what's going on and what things are interacting and stuff like this. So if they decide to go north, it's like, okay, 8 plot hooks right here. Plot hooks strewn in front of you. And they're going, wow, those look sharp. Hey, look, a cookie. You know, and next thing you know, they're following the blue llama off to the blue llamas. Off to Neverland, and you're just sitting there going, I have nothing. Why didn't you? There were things. That was a treasure, and look, a kidnapped girl. It's like, yeah, right, whatever. We're not police. Next go. Hey, I hear there might be orcs in this village. Oh, great. You know? So know what's going on in your world, even if they're not there.
Right.
If there's something that's going to be going on, this isn't a video game. It's not going to trigger the storyline unless it's something that interfering will trigger the storyline.
Right.
So always know what's going on, and that way when they like come across something and they go, wow, when did this start? Oh, well, 3 years ago, back when, you know, we had these plot hooks over here, and someone stepped on them and they started dragging them all over the street. Next thing you know, there's fishing line everywhere, and they have no idea what to do, and people started tripping, and it just got really, really bad. Why? Where were you? There was a gingerbread house. We talked to the M&Ms for 3 years. Why?
Well.
So that's what I'd recommend for that. It also helps in world building,
right.
Which is also one of the panels that I do is world building and how to lay down rules for your world so that you can keep them going.
Okay.
So
speaking from experience, what would you suggest for a DM who is having trouble with a thief who just decides to steal everyone's pants? Just because he can.
I would say,
including the kings.
I would say that they have just wrapped filming on Gamers 3.
Yes, they have.
Yes, and Scott Brown, who plays Leo in 2 and 3, is the narrator for my audiobook. So if we. Yeah, I said when I went to here, allow me to show you. You want to see it? You want to see it? Back. Actually, no, this will work fine. We'll go here. Where are you? Jesse, where are you? D'Artagnan. Guy named D'Artagnan. His name's actually D'Artagnan. Where is he?
That is cool.
He is. He's actually a pretty cool guy. Hi, D'Artagnan. We game with him on Skype. It's funny. There it is. Scott C. Brown. See? By the way, folks, today is Scott's birthday.
Oh.
Okay, so, you know, happy birthday, Scott Brown. All right, Scott C. Brown, there you go. If you would like to see some of the other work that he's done, go to mcsterlingthong.com.
Yes.
And freaking hilarious. Absolutely watch the interview, parts 1 and 2, and you really get kind of a feel. He created that beard.
Yes.
He just shaved it into a weird shape, and they went, that's great, I love that. So, anyway, but if they want to steal the pants, just treat that as a humor thing, come up with a couple of different pants,
right,
and then move along. Because it's just, they go, okay, I steal the pants. It's like, all right. After a while, you know, start putting up flyers, pants thief, please be aware, wear suspenders at all times, things like that.
It was, I mean, he even stole the king's pants.
Yeah.
He was so overpowered that it was just, oh, look, I rolled a 2. That's 87 stealth.
Allow me to let you know a secret. Phantasmal killer. It is specifically designed to be a thief ender.
Okay.
It is a wisdom, a will save,
okay,
and a fort save.
Yeah.
So thieves are primary reflex. You can't hit them with a rocket, so you can't hit them with the moon, but you can take them out with a single, charm person, and they're gone.
Yeah.
Because you really can't. You can't avoid the hey, look. So
thieves are ADD.
Yeah,
apparently.
they are. But Phantasmal Killer. I had a 17th level NPC that was supposed to be a recurring character, and thanks to Dork 20 cards, they killed him with a Phantasmal Killer, and I went, you expletive. Beep. R2-D2 is the most foul-mouthed.
I know. Character ever.
Has to be censored, every single word. Yeah, it was irritating. I had to have him come back from the dead just because I was so mad about it. Of course, when you're 17th level thief, that means you got a cleric of equal level somewhere around, and they're gonna go, yeah, get the heck back up here, jeez. Go take care of that problem. Get a will save you get.
/ resurrection.
Yeah. Anyway.
So Melissa, do you have any other questions for me?
I think you covered everything on me. So
we've been hanging out for like an hour. So
yep.
You gotta get your plane.
You have.
I do. Sadness. Yeah, it's 10:30.
Yeah.
So.
You have a very wonderful flight. Thank you so much for coming out here. Thank you so much for.
And it's been wonderful. I will see you in March.
Yes, we are looking forward to having you back.
Always talking and find out things.
Totally.
Cool. Find me on Facebook, Tanglwyst De Holloway. My Twitter is Tangle Tweets. So, and I do a lot of tweeting, and it's not just stuff like, oh, buy my book, which you really should buy the book. But you can learn out a lot of things where I'm going to be appearing. The publishing company again is fjpublishing.com. Fantastic Journeys Publishing at Gmail will get to me and my two partners, John Farmer and Steve Worky Nunez, who will also be at KitsuneCon, both of them.
Nice.
So, thank you.
Thank you so much
for
coming out.
Wonderful. It's wonderful to see you. And we will talk to you later.
So with that, I'm Zach.
I'm Melissa.
And you guys have a good night.
Something there. Stuff before because we didn't have the real clip, so it was falling. So it's like, oh, randomly the camera's just gonna fall to the ground. Great blooper.
Make sure your phones are off, please.
Oh, that's too bad.
No. We will make sure that everyone else's phone is off. She had her phone as a talent.
Oh, okay.
Where
he tried to get it to trigger yesterday, and it didn't work because that's not how it works. That's honestly not how it works. It'll come on when it's appropriate. And if it's not appropriate,
I timed it right. That it should have worked.
It's not your call, and that's the thing. The universe conspires to have it happen. It's organic. It's magic.
How do you say your last name?
De Holloway.
Tangled.
We'll just go with that.
We'll just go with Tangled.
And it's Tangled, T-A-N-G-L, like the mess your hair gets in.
Okay, Tangled.
Yep.
Yeah, not like past tense mess your hair gets in. So. That would be important later.
Ready?